I was talking to Ed Frazier yesterday. He wasn't going to be able to be here, and I was kind of cluing him in about what we were going to be talking about this morning. And before I could even make the point, he made the point of how important money is, but the point that we get caught up in a percentage idea, and we think we've heard God, and we stop listening to God. Or we think, well, it's the 10%, and then we go, I'm going to shut it down, and I only have to listen beyond that. I said, when you look at New Testament giving, it approaches giving a whole different way. It talks about those who have a gift of giving. If we treated other things the same way we do that, we'd go to a Sunday school class and say, okay, everybody here is going to take turns teaching from week to week to week to week to week to week. So there is somebody in that class that is especially gifted for teaching, and God is giving them the resource to do that, putting that in their life. I guarantee you, me before Christ and me after Christ, if I would have got up here before I was a Christian, before God equipped me to do what I'm doing this morning, it would have been the most horrible sight you'd ever seen of me crumbling and melting back here. But God gifted me to be up here. It was a dramatic gifting that He gave. And God is gifting some in the body of Christ to be major players in providing for the resources of God's kingdom. But often we say, no, just give us 10%. What if in Acts chapter, I'm not even sure what the chapter is right now, but the point in Acts where they were selling lands, where they were selling other possessions that they had in order to meet the needs of the body of Christ, and how they didn't just bring the 10%. They brought whatever God placed on their heart, and many of them brought it all. I shared some weeks back, I guess, about when I was in seminary, that I had never learned the lesson of really trusting God. And we had sold a business, and I took that money from that business, and I was going to use that to pay for seminary. But God convicted me that I'd never learned to trust Him, and He made me give it all away. Not just 10%, He made me give it all away. And out of that, He threw job after me, and all these different things that I did throughout seminary. Met Lynn through one job, and got out of seminary with ever borrowing a nickel. But God said, give it all away. Because I was listening. I wasn't listening with a percentage in mind. The rich young ruler, I'm sure he was a great tither. But God said, your heart is it's filled with covetousness. You need to listen to me, give it all away, and come and follow me, and you will be pursuing the kingdom of heaven. So when you look in the New Testament, there's some amazing things, and especially when you look at the widow who gave her 2 mites and the others who were coming and bringing the money out of their great resources. God wasn't impressed with that. God is more impressed, or God is less impressed with what we give and more impressed with what we keep. We need to remember that God is looking. He is gifting many of us to be a part of doing something great in the church. We don't want to get caught up in just percentages that often we do. We are living in that materialistic culture, and much of what we think is drawn out of our culture. If you lived in a third world culture, you'd probably be looking at having a resource of feeding